Hiya, lovely people. So I wanted to talk about something very close to my heart, which is being in your 40s and how we cope with this natural transition going through hormonal change. And of course, it's a subject close to my heart because I'm 49 and I sort of notice things changing around the age of 46. Now, you can blame everything on hormonal change, and see it as a really sort of awful thing if you want. But I really want to ask you something, which is to look at it differently if you can, to see it as it's a natural transition and to understand that the hormones are not causing your problems, but what they're doing is they're stirring up the underlying picture, which if you're out of balance, if you're holding on to a lot of negative emotions, if you haven't been looking after yourself that well, so you've been putting the family first, it's understandable, but it's not always a good thing. If if your diet hasn't been great, if your lifestyle isn't in balance, etc., then these will really come and bite you on your bum when you get into your 40s. Because of this hormonal change. So I want to just tell you about 42, because being the age of 42, there is likely to be some change. So you might be sort of skipping ovulation, very occasionally, which means there's not going to be as much progesterone, which is that lovely calming and nurturing hormone. So there'll be more estrogen around, and estrogen coupled with the stress hormones. You might feel a bit stirred up by that and going through that. And then 44, 45, you might be feeling it even more, and then on and on. So those are good ages to look at in your diary, and going right up until you go through menopause, of course. So 42 is very powerful because in astrology it's the Uranus opposition, and what that means is we move out of that kind of family reproductive kind of way and we start to turn the headlight on ourselves. This can be completely unconscious, by the way, but there's a little bit of a stirring and nudging that goes on inside, which is that kind of question of what about me? And it's that Shirley Valentine. You might not be as dramatic as her, flying off to Greece and all the things she did, but it is just like that movie. She's 42 and it is this just sudden kind of awareness, or maybe just a gradual awareness. Now that coupled with the change in hormones, there is a stirring up going on. But like I said, if you're in balance health-wise, then you'll cope with it better. But obviously, I'm sure maybe you, like myself, I'm not completely in balance. I'm juggling all sorts of things, and my diet isn't always good and my lifestyle isn't always balanced, and I'm not always handling my emotions that well. So what I wanted to talk to you briefly about now is the way I work with my clients, just to give you a short insight into it, because we can go in at the level of the hormones. You might decide you want to go for HRT at some point, or you might want to, use other forms of hormones. But what I would encourage you to do is to take a moment to look at your health and your life. And if it's hard to do it by yourself, then by all means come and see me. So let me tell you how I work. Basically, when you come for your first session, we look at your entire life. It's a this is your life moment. And a lot of my clients have never done this before. So it's a pretty illuminating experience. So we look at your family history, what's been handed down to you. We look at how healthy your mum was when she was pregnant, what was the pregnancy and birth like, and then all the way through your childhood, your adolescence, right up to your present day. And we look at all the life experiences you had, how you felt, what kind of relationships you had, what your work was like, what your work-life balance was like. And as we go through it, you will be able to know just by the way you feel when you talk about it and when you pass this information on to me, whether it feels like some of those experiences are still sitting there a bit unresolved. So you might feel a bit emotional, you might even shed some tears, you might even get a bit angry about a work situation that happened 5 years ago. And all of these experiences need airing. They need, a moment of acknowledgement. It's as simple as that. And then you don't need to do anything, because things start by letting go, then you can welcome the stuff you do want in. Do you see what I mean? So it becomes this really fascinating process. And I really hope you'd like to do it with me, because I love to help my clients. I love to sit there and help you unearth what on earth it is that's going on. And of course it's not just emotional, but the way we eat, there's no point in focusing on that entirely, because the way we eat is the way we feel. So, if we're choosing to drink quite a lot of wine every day, or eat bars of chocolate every day, or drink cups of coffee every day, there's a reason for that. We want to feel well. We always want to feel good. And of course, drugs are a quick fix. They make us feel great for 5 minutes and then, of course, undermine us later. That's not to say you should never have them, but it's recognizing why you're using them. So we really have to get underneath all of that stuff. And that is the time I take to do that with you. Then, of course, yes, we'll look at diet. And it may be that's all we need to look at, by the way. There might be nothing that you've got an issue with emotionally. So it might be that we just look at diet, and then making a few changes to diet takes the stress off the body physically. It can work better. We feel more centered, more grounded. And that also impacts us emotionally. So we can gradually start to create the life that we've always dreamed of living. Barriers to getting the ideal job or the ideal lifestyle, they start to come away as we start to feel better within ourselves, as we start to put some of those bags down. Because some of those bags, those emotional bags and physical bags, they're heavy, and sometimes we just need to put them down, and we need to start focusing on us and taking care of us as a number one priority, particularly in our 40s. It's really going to bite us in the bum unless we really listen. And the warnings, the noise, it's going to get louder. The symptoms, whether it's starting to wake up at night with hot flushes, whether it's starting to get more debilitating headaches that keep you in bed for a day or two. Whether it's just feeling this just total demotivation and just, I just can't, I can't be bothered with anything. I just have no motivation. I've got no energy. Those kinds of things. It's not just physical, it's emotional too. And it's the bags we're carrying, and we need to put them down. But first we've got to recognize what they are, first of all, and then let them go. And then we can start inviting some really wonderful experiences into our life. And it becomes much easier to take care of ourselves better. So the reliance on drugs becomes less. Drugs as in alcohol and chocolate and coffee and Coke and cigarettes and, sugar and those kinds of things. Are you ready? Do you want to start this journey? Do you want to get underneath your problems and, start to feel better? Do you want to move into the third phase of your life, feeling energized, feeling motivated, free of your symptoms? It's not going to be a straight line in terms of your journey. There is hormonal change happening, and we are living in a challenging environment, and we're often dealing with quite challenging situations, whether that's aging or unwell parents, whether that's a child with a health issue, whether that's juggling work and everything else. So it's not going to be a smooth transition, but what I will help you with is to discover tools that you can use. First of all, unearth what is going on and really get in touch with what is going on. And then use tools, find tools that you can use, both dietary and emotionally, that can help you navigate your way forward. It's not going to be perfect, you're not always going to feel amazing, but if you understand and have that compassion for yourself, you will cope day to day much better, and you will start to be able to create the life that you dream of. You deserve it. Especially at this age, you know, we're sort of often halfway through our life by now. We've got one life. We want to make it work for us. We don't want to always constantly be giving our energy away and draining ourselves and not having clear boundaries and just getting tired and demotivated. We've got so much to give, haven't we? And when we take care of ourselves first, when we put that oxygen mask on ourselves first, we then become a knight in shining armour to the others around us. We become a good example to our kids. We become helpful to our other loved ones in our lives. So even though we're putting the spotlight on us and appearing to be selfish, it's not really, because it benefits not only ourselves but everybody else. So I encourage you to take up the gauntlet now and not let yourself get weighed down by these health issues that are making you feel so rubbish, and know that you can be well. Your body knows how to heal itself, but we have to give it the chance to do that. We have to change our diet, we have to change our perspective, we have to change the way we feel sometimes. But in order to do that, we have to get underneath what's making us feel like that in the first place. And so, yeah, you know, inbox me. It's best probably not to call me. You can call me, but I probably will get the messages better, quicker, if you text me, inbox me, email me, or go on my website, look at the packages I offer. I'm going to be bringing out a new package soon, specifically for women in their 40s. You know, come on, let's do this. We can do this. We can be well. We can live a fantastic life, and we deserve to be. So, yeah, have a great day, ladies, and look forward to hearing from you. Bye for now.